Hello and welcome to Whitetail Institute's Food Plot TV. We have a great show for you today, and it's a show that we get a ton of questions about, and it is frost seeding. Frost seeding is an extremely effective method at having very lush, full food plots come the spring and summer months. So today we're going to talk a little bit later in the show about all the steps and the things that you need to do, but for now, let's get right to the show. This food plot here we call deceiving, and this has been a great food plot for us. A couple years ago I shot a really nice buck here, but what we have in here is a 2-year-old fusion on this end. The upper end we had wintergreens last year, but on this lower end it's about 3/4 of the plot is fusion. So that's what we're going to be frost seeding. Again, it's the third day of spring here. You see we still have a little bit of snow on the ground, but a perfect time to frost seed. So we're going to spread some fusion today, have a great looking food plot. Behind me, we have what we call the sheep plot. This is a small little plot, but last year, for the first year, we put imperial clover in here. We are in the 3rd day of spring, and it is a perfect time to frost seed. So we're gonna be frost seeding this plot with imperial clover. We're gonna have a great looking food plot come this spring and summer. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the technical aspects of how to properly frost seed. And the first thing we want to talk about, we get a lot of questions, when do we want to frost seed? And it varies in what part of the country you're in, but when you want to start frost seeding is when the ground is thawing and freezing, where you get those days where it warms up and it thaws, but then again at night it's going to freeze and it's going to suck those seeds into the ground. So make sure that's the time of year. It's usually right at the end of winter, right at the beginning of spring when you want to look at frost seeding. Next, let's talk about the benefits of frost seeding. Everybody knows from year to year you have some spots in your plots that may be bare, and this is a great way to fill in those bare spots. Clover and fusion blends will germinate much more quickly than weeds and grasses, allowing them to establish before you get a ton of weeds in your food plot. Frost seeding is very inexpensive. The only equipment that you're going to need to do this is a shoulder spreader. By frost seeding, it is going to reduce your costs on average for a new food plot 70 to 75%. Next, let's talk a little bit about what is the appropriate seed that you're going to want to frost seed with. First of all, we recommend you only use hard seed. You don't want to use any kind of soft seed because this time of year it gets in the soil, it will get wet, and it will rot. What we recommend here from Whitetail Institute are blends like Imperial Clover and Fusion. They are both hard-coated as well as already inoculated, so they are ready to go right out of the bag. The next question we receive a lot is, how do I frost seed? Let me first talk about equipment. We already touched on this a little bit earlier, but you are only going to need a shoulder spreader. Walk the plot clockwise, then diagonally. If you know where there were some bare spots before in the previous year, then put a heavier amount of seed on those spots. We will also tell people to generally spread seed in the morning or in the evening when temps are a little bit cooler. That'll avoid having to walk through muddy plots. Many people ask, how much seed do I need to spread? The expert opinions differ. We generally say somewhere between 1/3 and 1/2 the amount of seed recommended for a new planting. Others use an even higher seed rate than recommended for a new planting, as much as double, because there are so many variables that we cannot control. It is the middle of July. We wanted to bring you back in here, another one of our Whitetail Institute food plots, and you saw in the late winter, we had a ton of bare spots in here. We came in and we frost seeded it, and you can see now we have a beautiful looking fusion plot. We got chicory, we got clover in here. It turned out awesome. So again, a great way to have good looking food plots throughout the summer, take care of those bare spots, frost seed in the winter, and this is what you can have. As you can see behind us, we have nothing but beautiful clover in here. Again, we frost seeded it late winter. We had a lot of bare spots. We filled those in a great looking food plot. As we mentioned earlier, we also do things throughout the summer with the Arrest Max and the Slay products as well as mowing, but frost seeding is a very effective method at having great looking food plots in the summer. Well, as you can see, we had awesome results using this frost seeding method, and this happens every single year. It's a great way to make sure those perennial plots come in lush and full through the spring and the summer months. So we hope you enjoyed the show, and we want to thank you all for joining us on Whitetail Institute's Food Plot TV.